welcome to Smashterpieces, a casual walk through the history of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. My name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And if you're new here, what we are doing in the show is we are playing one game for every character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, from 1984's Duck Hunt to 2019's Fire Emblem Three Houses. And today's game is representing fighter number 73, Banjo and Kazooie. It is the 2000 Nintendo 64 game, Banjo-Tooie. I'm going to love when we leave 2000. It's really awkward to say we have two more games in that year. Damn it.
It's just the year 2000.
Yeah, but like the 2000 game title, it's dumb. Anyways, if you were listening last time to our Majora's Mask episode, which I hope you were, you'd know that we are not alone for this game. Everybody please welcome Pat.
Hello.
It's just Pat.
Yep. No, nothing fancy.
Doesn't have like a fancy name or anything.
You're not from anything. You're just Pat. You're just this guy we know.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, a guy we know who was like, I want to talk about Banjo. And we were like, yeah, sure. And then we played the game and he was like, shit.
I don't want to talk about Banjo.
I regret signing up for this.
This will be fun.
Because now you get to deal with us. So, obviously, Banjo-Tooie, the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, which came out in 98, I believe? Yes, 98. It was basically the game that put Rare on the map in terms of, like, N64, which is generally considered, like, their best era. I don't think a lot of their 64 games aged super well. In fact,
wait, you think that would put them on the map more than GoldenEye?
Did Kazooie or GoldenEye come first?
I think GoldenEye came first.
GoldenEye's pretty old, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it definitely came before Tooie, because that was why they shoved the first-person controls in this game, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's the first-person stuff in Tooie, most of it, we learned, is actually legitimately just reskinned GoldenEye multiplayer maps.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
GoldenEye, I think, put them on the map, but when people think Rare and N64 era, Banjo-Kazooie is like the place people go. It's that and GoldenEye. Those are the big two. Those are the two that people think about. Some of them Perfect Dark. Nobody's thinking about Jet Force Gemini.
Hey, John Raritan is thinking about Jet Force Gemini.
Nobody's thinking about Blast Core.
Never played it.
I also have never played it.
What genre even is Blast Core?
It's like a puzzle game, I think, about demolishing stuff.
Yeah, you're like a demolitions, like, construction
heavy
person.
Machinery.
Yeah, I don't know why you would call it a puzzle game, but I also have never seen gameplay.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a puzzle game.
I'm looking at a single screenshot on the Wikipedia page right now, and I'm not sure what to make of it at all.
But yeah, so this was generally considered to be Rare's golden era. This is, of course, our final game made by Rare on the entire list. Like, I genuinely don't think we're going to get another character from a Rare game anytime soon.
I don't even know what another character from a Rare game would be.
A Battletoad, maybe, but that's like the only thing I could think of.
Just holding out for Crystal.
Joanna Dark.
Joanna Dark? I mean, they're making a new Perfect Dark. That means nothing, but like, they're... And so, if I might point to one of my favorite moments of Matt's finale stream of Banjo-Tooie, where he, like me in my last session, was so tired. So tired.
I was also literally tired. I was going off 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah, that too. But, like, we'll get to the reason for the tired in a bit. But you, like, mumbled, Rare should be stopped. To which I in chat responded with, they were. That was the problem for a very long time.
I forgot that I said that.
I think it's interesting because if you look at like what Banjo-Tooie is, there's a very clear like through line to how Nuts and Bolts got made. It's a lot of the same thought process going into it, and like listening to what they said about Nuts and Bolts. It's like, oh yeah, I could see how that you get from point A to point B.
For anybody that does not know, Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie are 3D collectathons, much like Donkey Kong 64, which we played before. Also kind of like Mario 64, which is the game that sort of started the genre, kind of. But Banjo-Kazooie is like Mario 64, but better and more. And then Banjo-Tooie is Banjo-Kazooie, but more. Notice I did not say better. It's very important that you notice that detail.
I just want to point out that Joe is the one who defends DK64.
I was 10. I was 19 when I played this game, Patrick.
Oh, this is your first time playing Banjo-Tooie?
Do you think I'm 19 right now?
Wait, shit.
Pat, you're off by 10 years.
Wow.
Almost.
Yeah.
I'm 28, man.
Yeah, what am I thinking?
I didn't play either of the Banjo games as a kid. I managed to find 2 N64 cartridges of both games at a thrift store when I was about 19 years old, and that's when I played both of them. And then, so this would be my second time playing Banjo-Tooie. I've played Banjo-Kazooie 3 times now, and
let's just get into it. Like, no more dancing around. Just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's go.
Banjo-Tooie is not a very good game.
I don't disagree, but I think you guys might be being a bit harsh on it.
Let me preface this by saying, I think that there are a lot of good parts to Banjo-Tooie. The writing is very good, with the exception of one thing that we will deal with in a bit.
On the whole, the writing is a step up from the original game, definitely.
It is very funny.
There is for sure more of it, and it's got more of that classic style of rare humor that I think, on the whole, succeeds more than it fails.
Yeah, it's very funny. Kazooie is still like, there was that trend for a long time of like, the sassy sidekick character who's just like, they miss the mark on sassy and go straight into fucking annoying, and Kazooie never hits that.
Yeah.
Just like she never hits it in Banjo-Kazooie, and that's respectable, and I like that a lot.
I think the only one character that I can think of that kind of got that down was Daxter from Jak and Daxter. But like everyone else I could think of is basically just a failure in that case.
See, I've never played Jak and Daxter, but I know that people do like Daxter, and I think I knew that he is that kind of character, yeah. It's a very similar thing. Like, that's a hard type of character to write. GLaDOS is kind of that too, in Portal 2 at least, where she's not annoying and she's very mean. It's a very hard bar to meet. So yeah, the writing is like the shining example in this game. I also think like some of the abilities you get are really good, but this is where I'm going to get into a couple of my criticisms. There are too many fucking abilities in this game.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a case. I'm trying to think. There's definitely abilities you use like once or twice, and then just never use again.
Which was the case in DK64 as well.
Oh, banana.
Yeah, but DK64 doesn't feel as overwhelming because every character only has like 3 abilities, and you can sort of compartmentalize
That's
those.
15 different abilities.
Yeah, but they're assigned to a different character.
Well, they kind of are in this game too, because they're split up between Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo and Kazooie. The majority of new abilities are for like the split up Banjo and Kazooie, rather than being for the two of them together. So it kind of does add up to the same effect as DK64, where it's split up among the characters. I didn't even like DK64, and I would still say that the different characters are better in that game than they are in this game, because I just don't like the split up mechanic.
Oh.
I think Banjo alone is terrible. And Kazooie isn't as good as Banjo and Kazooie, but she's so much more manageable. And it's just like anytime the game asked me to split up, I just wanted to die.
So there's my hot take. I actually really like the split up pets. Because Kazooie is a little bit more of a platformy kind of character, and Banjo was a little bit more of a puzzle-solving kind of character. A lot of his stuff isn't for platforming, it's for, I gotta pick this thing up. or I got to get in the backpack and hop on like thorns or something like that, which I actually do think is something really cool. Like, I wouldn't have been able to think of 4 uses for Banjo's backpack. I'm going to be totally honest.
Well, my problem with that is that it ends up being a problem where you get you're exploring the level and you get to something and you can see it might even take like a platforming challenge to get there. And then you realize, oh, I'm supposed to be a different permutation of these characters before I'm able to do this. And you need to go back, find a split up pad and then go through the journey to get there again, which, hey, that sounds a lot like DK64.
Yeah. The question is, I think at least, is that a limitation of the hardware, or is that just like...
I don't think you can as cleanly fix the problem as you could in DK64. Like in DK64, you could just add a button to switch between Kongs and the game would be fine. It would be like an order of magnitude better. I don't think that would really work for this game. I feel like part of the game's balance is based around having to manage splitting up between the characters and then getting these characters with very different movement sets into different places.
Yeah, that fundamentally they would have to change the design, and I think actually that would lessen the split up paths, because I found it really interesting and fun to have to like figure out how to get somewhere as just Banjo or just Kazooie. Sometimes it was frustrating, but like when it worked, I think it was really fun, where it's like, okay, well, Banjo can't jump as high as Kazooie, or like early on Banjo can't attack, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, that is so stupid.
But like you have to think about it in different ways, and I kind of like that, but I also get what you're saying, where like when it works, at least for me, I really like it, but there are parts of it where it's just kind of like, okay, I wish I could just be bear and bird instead of bear or bird.
See, for me, I 100%ed Banjo-Kazooie before this, for the first time. Because it's actually doable by a human being on the 360 version, because the notes save when you leave a world. One thing that I definitely wanted to point attention to, and I should preface this by saying, yes, most of the complaints I have about this game could also be aimed at Donkey Kong 64. Yes, I know, I am aware. Again, I was 10. I have a much higher tolerance for DK64's bullshit because I grew up with it. It was my first game ever. So.
You were born and molded by the bullshit.
Pretty much. In Banjo-Kazooie, you have every ability in the game by the time you hit Clanker's Cavern.
Not every ability.
Yes, the last abilities are in Clanker's Cavern.
No.
You don't get any more abilities after that.
That's like actually false.
I'm pretty sure that is correct.
Speed shoes.
The speed shoes, okay, though, those might be in Mad Monster Mansion.
And the flying charge.
Yeah, there's a couple that you get in other worlds.
I remember it being very early that Bottles, told me, yeah, you've learned every ability in the game. The point is, you're still getting abilities by the time you hit Cloud Cuckoo Land, man, in this game.
The difference is, in the original game, there was, an ability per world. In Tooie, you walk into a world, and there's, 4 abilities in each one.
A lot of the abilities are, and I know some people don't like this, but I don't actually mind it too much. They're more like keys, though. They're like, you get here, and then when you have this ability, you can kind of do this thing.
But the problem is that there's half the time there is nothing actually stopping you from getting to the point where you would need that ability. It's like Matt said, sometimes there'd be a platforming challenge, and then it's you get to a jam jar silo, and he'll come out and be like, I ain't teaching you shit until you lose one of the others. And you're fuck, I guess I gotta go find the fucking split up pad and figure out how to get this asshole here alone.
That's fair.
And that happens all the time.
And there's no way of knowing until you, actually talk to him and he says, go away.
Yeah, that happens constantly.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they were, color-coded, or, if you could see, doesn't it have, a light on the top?
There is a light. It's red if you haven't learned the ability, and it's green if you have.
If they had used, a second light, or, just colored, if it was a jam jar's silo,
Or just have it be like the Switches, where their faces are on it.
Yeah.
That's literally all you have to do.
Well, but you could have also colored it like...
Blue and red are usually their colors.
Yeah. So if you had colored it like that, then like you could visually see it from a distance and be like, oh, okay. So you don't have to be like right on top of it and be like, oh, that's a Kazooie face. Like you could see like, okay, that's a red silo. I don't need to go there unless I get Kazooie.
Yeah. I don't think that would have been like perfect, but that would have improved it a lot.
It would have been better than nothing.
Yeah.
My other problem with Banjo-Tooie's design, though, first of all, levels are way too goddamn big.
Yeah, they start to get way too big near the end.
That isn't a terrible thing for most of it. Like, I don't think that my Hem Temple is all that bad. But I think it's telling that, in my opinion, the best level in the game, the best designed level in the entire game, is Witchy World, because Witchy World is designed like a Banjo-Kazooie level.
Yeah, Witchy World is very easy to navigate. You've got a central hub to it, and then like everything's in 4 cardinal directions that have drastically different visual designs.
So I would agree with you if Witchy World wasn't just like 6 mini games.
Okay, that is fair. Witchy World has a bit too much of a reliance on minigames.
Like, I get why it does, because it's a carnival.
Yeah, I'm just saying the world design, because it's like, the one that I keep coming back to is the one that's just straight up awful is Pterodactyl Land.
Because everything in Pterodactyl Land looks the same!
Yeah, I get that.
Not only does it look the same, but it's also, the way that it's shaped is like kind of cylindrical. So like you don't have those cardinal directions. Everything just kind of curves around. So there's it's very difficult to get your bearings.
And every single cave entrance looks exactly the same.
Yeah, so not to go back a game, but like I had that issue with Click Clock Wood actually.
Click Clock Wood is my least favorite level in Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, I've heard people love it, and I'm just like, it's neat. I like the gimmick, but like, it's got the same issue where like Pterodactyl Land has that central thing where you have to climb it in like multiple different ways, and then if you fall, you're just screwed.
Pterodactyl Land was like some serious Click Clock Wood flashbacks.
For me, the Click Clock Wood flashback came from Hailfire Peaks Fireside.
Oh, that's fair. I love Hailfire Peaks actually, but I'm sure I don't know. Are we gonna go level through level, or?
I mean, we can.
But like before we do that, let's just speak like in a general sense about the game. I feel like the game, it has the opposite problem of DK64 for me, but ends up feeling very similar because like whereas DK64 felt like there was just too much to do all at once, and I was constantly retreading ground, picking up things that like I should have been able to do the first time. Banjo-Tooie, it's not right to say that it doesn't have enough for me to do, but like there's not enough for me to receive. So whereas DK64, you've just got a wealth of bullshit and you don't realize how little of it you need to actually do, so you just end up getting overwhelmed. Tooie has a wealth of bullshit where you don't realize how much you need to do, so you just get exhausted.
Which basically, the way we have been describing it is every fucking jiggy in this goddamn game is a 12-step process.
So you're right, yeah, and I noticed that getting into the later levels. It's not like that in the beginning levels, though, and that's kind of, I think, what frustrated me about some later levels.
Yeah, Maya Hem Temple and Glitter Gulch Mine aren't that bad with this. I'll be real.
I think basically up until...
And Witchy World's not really bad with this either.
Yeah, Witchy World is probably the last one. Because what's immediately after Witchy World?
Jolly Roger.
Oh, no, Jolly Roger's pretty fine with it, too.
I think the real moment that it becomes a very seeable problem is Grunty Industries.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's... To be honest, like, as much as I want to as I like defending, like I want to be here to defend the game, like that is the point where I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Like, I think Hailfire actually kind of mitigates some of those problems. Like, I don't remember too many of those jiggies taking like a lot of steps, except for the one where you have to like with the boiler and things like that. But But like Grunty Industries, Pterodactyl Land, there's a Jiggy in Pterodactyl Land in particular that's like, I have to do 3 of these things that make me go to like multiple worlds.
The dinosaur family.
The dinosaur family. It's ridiculous.
So the dinosaur family is actually the first time where I had to hold myself back from going like, hey, fuck off though. Because the game even makes the joke of, hey, that was a lot of work. Do you maybe have more than 1 Jiggy? And the Styracosaur dad says no.
Yeah, like, I was thinking about how much I think I would have enjoyed that if that was like a 3 Jiggy thing, because...
Well, in Banjo-Kazooie, it would have been.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I like going back through those worlds and, like, doing stuff, but, like, I'm not gonna do it, like, 3 times. Like, nah, I'm all set.
So here's a fun experiment for you. Let's do a little math game. So in this game, there are 90 Jiggies, and you need 70 of them to finish the game. I don't know about you, Pat. Me and Joe both were like, holy fuck, this game makes you do so much. That's 70 Jiggies?
Yeah.
That's more than 3/4 of all Jiggies.
See, that's one thing that DK64 has over this game is you only need 50% of the goddamn golden bananas to finish the game.
But so here's our fun experiment. I'll just take a guess. Don't look it up. Just off the top of your head. How many Jiggies do you think you need to complete Banjo-Kazooie? There are 100 in Banjo-Kazooie. How many do you think you need to fight the final boss?
It's like 45 or something like that, right?
Joe, how many do you think?
I want to say 50.
It's 94.
Holy shit, what?
And you guys didn't even realize that because it's like you get them like so much simpler.
Yeah.
You basically need to 100% that game to finish it. And it doesn't feel like that because the game just flows so much better.
Yeah, shit. Wow, that's news to me. Yeah. Holy shit.
Wow. I'm stumped. I don't have any good rebuttal for that.
I think where Tooie's issues come in is just, boy, howdy, Rare was kind of ahead of their time and not in a great way. It feels like all of their collectathons, though granted, I have not played a lot of Conquer. The little I did play of Conquer made me not want to play more Conquer.
Is Conquer the same kind of game? I don't think I've ever seen Conquer being played.
Conquer's a collectathon, yes. It just sort of feels like every game they're just like, well, how do we make it bigger then? And nobody at any point said, do we have to make it bigger?
Yeah, I think it's emblematic of, like, at that time, them being, like, there being so many different 3D platformers that, like, you had to kind of, like, try to do something different or, like, bigger.
Well, like, I can't blame them. Like, Banjo-Kazooie was a step up from Mario 64. It was seen as that by most publications at the time.
That's even what I think. I think that it's, like, obviously I give Mario 64 a lot of credit for being first by several years, but I think that Banjo-Kazooie overall is a better game than Mario 64.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I can imagine that there was probably pressure to be like, well, now we have to do a step up from Banjo-Kazooie. It's kind of that whole, well, I mean, we need to have billion-dollar budgets because people only want to play the biggest open world games with the best graphics. And it's like, do you though?
To my understanding, this is a problem that they carried forward as Platonic with Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah, it is. And you can see it in Nuts and Bolts too. Is like they specifically said like they made the levels too big, and then instead of being like, why don't we scale down the levels? They were like, what if we just added vehicles, and then the entire game became vehicles? Like I think it's just a very like rare thing. It's the kind of thing where like maybe we give them a little bit too much credit.
I don't want to say it's quantity over quality. Because it's not quite that, because they didn't completely like, Banjo-Tooie is still a playable game. It is still fun to play for like an hour, before you realize that you've been playing for an hour and haven't gotten a single Jiggy in Grunty Industries. But it feels like there was no thought to, well, how does this change the design of the game? It was just, well, it needs more stuff, more things, all the things.
I honestly feel like if the structure of the game was a little different, if you got, honestly, if they took more of a Mario Odyssey approach to it, and, it's probably not fair to hold them to a standard of a game that came out 2 decades later, but Mario Odyssey, and I don't even like Mario Odyssey, so, take that for what you will, but Mario Odyssey has, 900 fucking moons for you to collect, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels a lot better, and you're constantly progressing because you're getting so many of them so fast, and the barrier of entry of those 900 moons to finish the game, you need 300 of them. So it's a game where you get to very easily pick and choose what you want to do, so that when you run into something where you're like, this is bullshit, not gonna bother with that, you can just go do something else. Whereas in Banjo-Tooie, because there are so few jiggies compared to how many things there are you need to do, and because you need so many of those jiggies to finish the game, you're forced to do things whether you want to do them or not. I think if you had this exact same game, the same levels, the same objectives, the same everything, but you put in more jiggies and lowered the required jiggies to finish, you'd have a much better game just by doing that.
Well, again, I think, like I've said a couple of times, I think that is a strength that Donkey Kong 64 has, which is, hey, does this golden banana suck? Then don't do it. You only need half the bananas in the game. Just don't do it then. And I don't feel like I have that option in Tooie.
That's the thing, right? Is when you get to Cauldron Keep and it's you need 55 jiggies. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I basically get to skip all the shitty jiggies. And then you do the quiz and then you get to the top of Cauldron Keep and it's no, fuck you. You need 15 more jiggies,
asshole.
That was the first time I was okay, I kind of just don't. There were 2 times I didn't want to play. One, when I was in Grunty Industries. And 2, at that point. I got to that point and it was you're gonna make me go back and do 15. 15 is an absurd amount of jiggies.
It really is.
It's the biggest gap between any of the level openings, I'm pretty sure.
15 jiggies is 1.5 entire worlds.
It's ridiculous.
15 jiggies is my entire final stream. 3 hours.
It's just such a slap in the face, too, because you get, Kazooie's let's go beat Grindilda, and you just get to the laser, and it's just get 15 more jiggies, and I'm ugh.
Honestly, how about this? Take out that gate.
Yeah, literally.
And this game is already, a full number point higher on the review score.
It's ridiculous how much that gate is just... Also, this is just a tangent, but, after you do that final gate, Jiggy Wiggy's oh, I have one final challenge for you. I'm not gonna give you anything, but you could do it. And it's why would I do it?
So what was everyone's score for that challenge?
0 minutes and 0 seconds, because I didn't do it.
My final score for that one was 21 seconds remaining. 79 was my score.
Mine was 100 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I was oh, you're not going to give me anything to do one of my least favorite parts of the game? I hate those stupid puzzles.
So I think that's a double-edged sword, because one thing that I realized upon replaying Banjo-Kazooie was that I fucking hate how you open levels in that game. Not you press a button and the pieces go in, that's fine. It's oh, you want to get into, Gobi Valley? Well, the painting to open Gobi Valley is, on the other side of Grunty's lair, so fuck you, go get it. Find it, idiot. God, getting to the Rusty Bucket Baywood is just so much more trouble than it's actually worth. And this one, I like the idea of, well, we're gonna put it in the same place every time. You just keep returning to this location, and that's how you open new levels. And I like that. That's much better. And then... I don't think the moving jigsaw is that bad.
I just think it's boring.
It's boring, and it also, fundamentally goes against what a jigsaw puzzle is, because the picture is moving. So, like, sometimes he'll pick something up and Banjo will be, like, because Banjo's, like, in the pictures. He'll be on the piece, and by the time you move it over, he's moved to another piece. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
I mean, in some ways, a moving jigsaw puzzle can be easier, too.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, but like, all right, I have two more general things I want to say about the game, and then I think we should probably let Pat have the floor for a little bit.
oh, I just want to talk about the levels because they're one of my favorite parts of this game. I think a lot of them are more interestingly themed and I wouldn't say designed, but far more interestingly themed than like original Banjo levels.
Well, it's our show and I get to complain first. So
yeah, no, go ahead.
First of all, I actually kind of like how Jinjos are handled in this game. I think it's neat. I think it's a neat idea.
Jinjo!
And especially how they're like randomized. That's great. And then Rare ruined it by adding Minjos. Minjos are the worst fucking idea Rare has ever had, and these people made Grab by the Ghoulies. And
I'm gonna fucking challenge that. I'm gonna challenge that because you have made it very clear to me that you've never played Jet Force Gemini.
Okay, yeah, that's clear.
So
that's fair.
Imagine if the Jinjos could be murdered.
Wait, what? I've never played
Imagine if the Jinjos could be murdered by the enemies, and the game is a shooter.
That's
and
awful.
they frequently run out into the middle of the combat arena because they're fucking stupid.
I'll take Minjos.
Now imagine that you get to the end of the game, and you're about to fight the final boss, and King Jingling says to you, actually, you need to collect all of the Jinjos before you can fight the final boss.
That's stupid.
And now imagine that it doesn't work like Jinjos, it works like music notes in Banjo 1. Where you need to get all of them in one run.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
But, so, Minjos, they're the shittiest part of the game. 100%, like, and when I say shittiest, I mean, like, they're the most mean-spirited against the entire design of Banjo thing that is in the entire game. Because it's like, hey, here's this collectible. 50% of them aren't a collectible and will actively try to hurt you.
In fairness, Minjos are very rarely in places that it takes any real effort to get to.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of just there.
It got to a point, though, where both of us, during our streams, when we saw a Jinjo, the first thing we said was, I bet that's a Minjo, and 90% of the time we were correct.
Oh yeah,
You start instinctively attacking every
yeah,
Jinjo.
exactly. Me too.
They suck. They're so bad. Holy shit.
I actually, my issue with the Minjos is I find them to be pointless after like the first two times.
Well, yeah, if they were like Mingi Jongo, where it's like one world has Minjos in them. Like, alright, cool, that's a neat little gimmick, I guess, fine. But it's every world after, like, I think the third world?
They're just mimics.
They also kind of do a cute thing with it, with Mingi Jongo specifically, where Mingi, it randomizes every time you play which hut is Mumbo Jumbo and which one is Mingi Jongo. And Mumbo Jumbo's hut has a Minjo in it, and Mingi Jongo's hut has a Jinjo in it.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that. The rest of it's not so great.
I like Mingi Jongo a lot.
I think Mingi Jongo is a really neat thing.
We can, when we talk about every level, we can cover the bosses with them.
Yes, yeah. Because I have things to say to Lord Wu Fok Fok.
Alright, my final complaint, and I've been alluding to it for weeks. And by alluding to it, I mean both me and Matt have been screaming it from a megaphone since the second we started playing the game. I cannot speak with authority on, Humbawamba.
Ooh, yeah.
But Humbawamba is the thing in this game that aged the most poorly. Wow.
So, I don't want to give anyone the benefit of the doubt, because man, she's rough. But also, like,
DVD Smith in our chat, he's Scottish, so he's like from, he's in the UK, which is, a damn bit closer to rare than we are. And he explained, like, we don't really have, like, a really good knowledge of Native American stuff here. And, like, obviously, why would they? And then when he mentioned that, I remember Matt responding with, yeah, neither do we.
Like,
which is true.
Like, okay, like, let's be honest. What happened with Humboldt was probably one guy watched Pocahontas and was like, we could do that. And that's basically it.
So here's the thing. Humboldt would not be nearly as bad if she didn't speak in broken English.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That's all they needed to change. That's all. I mean, yeah, the fact that she's in a teepee and the fact that her music has the war chant, which is actually, hey, just so everybody knows, that's actually super fucking offensive to Native Americans. Like, really offensive. Don't do it. And that's in her music.
So I remembered, like, she refers to, like, anything mildly large as big heap.
Big heap thing, and I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be.
I went to Urban Dictionary, and the definition for that is, quote, mildly racist way to say really big. Supposedly what Native Americans used to say.
Oh boy. Like, I genuinely think 90% of the problems with Humblewumba could be fixed by just making her talk like a normal goddamn character.
Yeah.
Like, there are still some problems to be found, but I think that one's the big one, to the point where both me and Matt voiced every character in Banjo-Tooie except for Humblewumba.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Like the final, like the ending cutscene comes up and she's in it, and I'm voicing every character, and then she starts speaking, and I just kind of like awkwardly go silent.
She's a lot. She's a lot.
It's rough because, like, I don't condone that at all, but
well, 2000 was also a very different time.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta keep that in mind, is that, yeah, no, this was still bad at the time, but there was a lot less, like, awareness of how bad this was at the time.
I mean, how literally, like, when we put up that bonus episode of, like, the old second save file episode we did on Banjo-Kazooie, I had to edit some shit we set out.
Yeah, and that was recorded in, like, 2012.
We are not innocent of this. So I don't hold it against anyone at Rare, because I do get the impression that they have learned from it and they don't repeat that problem nowadays.
Well, I need to see how Humblewumba talks in nuts and bolts before I give them that.
You know, that's fair.
Her design is better in nuts and bolts.
She's a mechanic, though, and, like, is that a stereotype? Because I feel like I see that a lot on TV.
No, the stereotype with Native Americans is that they run casinos. And hey guys, guess what? For the most part, that still also ain't true. But, like, I just wanted to point that out. I think of all of us, I'm like the closest to, I'm an actual registered member of a Native American tribe. Like, I have a tribal membership number and everything.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm the white man.
But that, again, I cannot speak up. I am white as shit. I am the minimum amount of Native American blood I can be to still be considered a member of the Potawatomi tribe. Like, I cannot speak with authority on literally any of that shit.
Like, if you have a child, they will not be eligible.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Unless I find somebody else with a higher amount of Native American in their blood than I do, which, good fucking luck with that shit. Thanks, Europe. And it feels weird to go back to Humblewumba, and she's the only part that's just like, ooh, boy, I wish I could retroactively cut this out of the game.
I don't know. There's some... You could also say some stuff about Jolly, I think.
I think Jolly's pretty fine, honestly. Again, that is something I absolutely can't speak with authority on, because I'm straight as a goddamn arrow. But, like, I never really got the impression Jolly was that bad.
I would say that he doesn't play into any like harmful stereotypes or anything. The problem with Humba is appropriation.
Yeah.
Whereas Jolly is a stereotype, yes, but like he doesn't play into anything that's like categorically false, like racial appropriation. And overall, he's portrayed fairly positively. So I would say Jolly's fine.
That's true.
So, let's do the level rundown. But I do want to give Pat some time on his soapbox to defend this game that neither me nor Matt were huge on. So, Pat, I'm going to hand you the floor.
I'm actually pretty happy with what we've talked about, because it hasn't just been game shit. It's been like,
look, man, if we could get through DK64 and the conversation wasn't that, we can do anything.
Look, we did our game is shit with Earthbound.
We did that with Ice Climber. I got that out of my system back in fucking 1985.
Okay, yeah, let's go down the levels. I think Isle O Hags is the first one technically. So, like, what do you guys feel about that as a hub world?
I think it's decent.
I don't think it's as interesting layout-wise as Grunty's Lair.
I don't think the music's nearly as good as Grunty's Lair.
Oh, we'll get to that. I agree, but I also will talk more about it, but I do really like the theme of the Isle of Hags. It's not nearly as like iconic as Grunty's Lair.
I mean, to be fair, like that theme is like very nostalgic to me, because half the time I watched my friend playing, he was just kind of running around.
But also, Grunty's Lair is not an original song. It's actually a rearrangement of, I think it's called Teddy Bear Picnic. It's a public domain song that Grant Kirkhope remixed, and now everybody knows it as Gruntilda's Lair.
I really like how Isle of Hags is. It feels a little bit more connected, right? Like, I guess there's some places like, okay, where's the fuck is Pterodactyl land, like, on this island? But everything kind of feels like it has a place in it, as opposed to just jumping into, like, a painting like you do in, like, Mario 64 or you do in the original Banjo.
The interesting thing about the Isle of Hags is that when you go to Cloud Cuckoo Land, you can actually see it from overhead.
Yeah.
And it has a defined layout where you can actually clearly see Pterodactyl Land.
Yeah, it's super cool. You can see Hellfire Peaks, too.
You can see everything. You can see the whole damn thing.
And I think that's why, even though, like, part of me just thinks Cloud Cuckoo Land is like an asset dump, where they're just like, we'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, I do really like, that's the final level, is, like, you're above everything, and you can look down at everywhere you've been. And I just like how it feels like a world. Like, everything kind of feels connected, and, like, when you go through those, like, doors in other worlds and, like, come out of an area, there's context to it, like how you go through pipes and you can get to, like, Grunty Industries and Jolly Roger.
I do think that aspect is something the game does really well, though. I think it goes a little far in a couple places, but yeah, the interconnectedness of everything is just, not only is it like, holy shit, Rare was doing this in 2000, what the hell? But also just, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. It makes it feel like a real place.
Banjo-Tooie is the prototype Dark Souls.
Banjo-Tooie is a Metroidvania.
There was literally a boss that Matt fought where he was like, gotta play it like Dark Souls.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say for that. I really like the interconnectedness of the world and how it all kind of feels like it could be a thing. There's a couple worlds, like Witchy World is kind of like, sometimes, like, it's like, okay, but, like, how many people would actually come to this amusement park on this deserted island?
Boggy's wife and all 3 of her children, apparently.
Yeah.
No, Witchy World, I actually really love the setup of that.
Oh, it's great. It's, like, closed. I don't know how they got in, but...
They broke it in.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I were to believe anything, it's that Boggy and his entire family are criminals.
Isle O Hags, I just feel like aesthetically it's weak. I think that it like weaves in and out of these ideas of locations like a little. It could be better.
It is definitely not as aesthetically interesting as Grunty's Lair, but I do think that it sort of makes up for that with the layout stuff. Like, I do like that a lot.
To be fair, like, once you've got to a silo in Isle O Hags, you don't use a silo, so...
Oh, yeah, no, that's... You always use the shortcut. Always. And, I think that's another thing. I think that's a good thing that literally, you find the silo, you can immediately do it. Cause you know what fucking sucks in Grunty's Lair? The stupid cauldrons.
Yeah, the cauldrons
fuck those
suck.
things. This is a much better solution to the exact same problem.
I kind of like the cauldrons.
Get out of my podcast. This is my podcast. Pat, are you ready to play Pokemon Puzzle League next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's like the third time you told a guest to replace me.
Yeah, I think the cauldrons, like, I think I like the idea better. Like, oh, it's a witch, so you go through cauldrons.
Just the fact that you have to find both.
You have to find two, and they both have to light up, and it's just like, and they don't like necessarily like go to a place you want them to go.
It makes Grunty's Lair feel more tangible to me. I don't really know my way around Isle O Hags the same way that I know my way around Grunty's Lair.
That's fair.
I don't know my way around fucking either of them. When I had to go back and do the stop and swap shit, do you have any idea how hard it was for me to fucking remember how to get to Gobi Valley?
It's weird talking about games that came out in the last 2 decades, right, on this show, but it's like I'm playing Immortals Phoenix Rising right now, and it's like, because that game has fast travel, in like a more significant way than Breath of the Wild does, it means that I know my way around the world a lot less than I did in Breath of the Wild, even though they're two very similar games. It makes, like, it's too easy to get around almost, and it makes the world feel incidental.
I guess I could see that. It's kind of a hard balance to get when you have like an open world sort of thing. Not that I'd call this game an open world game, but
I feel like we would have like just imagine those silos don't exist. We're definitely complaining about the fact that those silos don't exist at this very moment.
Oh yeah, there has to be something, but the fact that there's still some level of traversal in Grunty's Lair, I like that.
That's fair. I think if there were less silos, maybe, or I don't know.
I just don't like the cauldrons because I have absolutely no short-term memory and I will never ever remember what colors go where. Mayhem Temple. We gotta speed this up.
Yeah. We gotta speed up. Okay. I find this world to be forgettable as all hell. I've never been a huge fan of Mayhem Temple.
Yeah, but it's got that soccer. I'm sorry, this is British. It's got that football league.
It's kickball, thank you.
Yeah, it is kickball.
Oh fuck, it is kickball.
Yeah, they call it kickball in the game.
It comes back for some reason.
It sure does.
How much you want to bet that it's called kickball so they didn't have to like make localization changes?
Oh, almost definitely.
Oh, 100%. It has to be that.
Also, Shocker should just probably be called kickball. Because that makes more sense.
Yeah, but there's already a sport called kickball. And it's not that. It's just baseball where you kick the ball.
Also, Pat, you know what name makes more sense than soccer?
Football. Because I like how a game that like you spend maybe 5% of kicking is the game that gets named football in America. But we're not here to talk about that.
I don't know. That's what this podcast is now.
Oh, now we gotta get Neil back on.
While we're at it, why is it called baseball when you're hitting a ball and then you're running over the bases? That doesn't make sense.
Okay,
Why is it called rugby when there are no carpets?
That was bad.
So, like, Mayhem Temple, yeah, I agree. It's fine. It's fine, but it's not super memorable. It's fine as, like, an opening level.
I like the priceless relic thingy.
You have to go into Pterodactyl Land and like...
Oh yeah, you get to go to Pterodactyl Land like super early and then just... It's great.
I remember going there and then Matt like got into my stream right as I walked in that room and he was like, "Oh sweet, you're in Pterodactyl Land already." I was like, that's how I remembered that I was actually there. Yes, that's correct.
Though to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of those like sneaking, like where you have to just like kind of tap. Maybe it's my
They're so much harder on an Xbox controller.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gotta be Xbox, right? Because like
It's always the Xbox controller.
It feels a lot more lenient on the N64's analog stick. And we've talked about this for basically every N64 game we've talked about, where all the N64 games were designed specifically around how the N64's analog stick worked, and no other analog stick works like that.
yeah. And then I think because it shows up in this level first, I would like to talk about my least favorite part of Banjo-Tooie, the fucking first-person shooter levels. I hate them.
So we all played on Xbox.
Yeah.
Where they fucked up the controls. Joe, let me tell you a thing me and Pat talked about before we started recording, because we
oh yeah,
we were hanging out in a voice call while Pat was driving home from work. Let me tell you a fucking thing.
Oh God.
Joe, pop quiz. When you push the analog stick to look up in the first person sections and then you let go, what happens?
It magnetizes to the goddamn center.
So in the N64 version, when you press the C button to look up and then let go, what happens?
I don't remember.
It stays there.
yeah.
What? That's why I didn't think the final boss was bad when I played it on 64.
It fucking
Holy
sucks.
Shit.
It literally makes like a lot of my least favorite parts of this game like so much better. Like I can't stand shooting eggs in this game.
Oh my God. What were they thinking?
4J really fucked that one up.
Holy shit. I didn't think that the first person shooter sections were that bad. I don't think they're great, but I didn't think they were that bad. And then I fought the final boss, which requires you to go into the first person shooter thing pretty much as the only method of doing damage to the boss. And holy shit, you basically need the homing eggs to make that boss bearable on Xbox.
From the studio that figured out how to make Minecraft work on a controller brings you, let's recenter the camera downwards when you let go of the analog stick.
Jesus Christ. And this wasn't even in a point of time like the original was, where we didn't really know how to do first-person shooters on consoles.
Yeah, it's...
This re-release came out in what? Like 2000? This was post-Halo!
This was post Halo 3.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's stupid. That sucks. I think where the main problems with level layout started to peek their ugly head out for me was Glitter Gulch Mine, which is level 2.
Yeah.
That level is a fucking labyrinth.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm fine with it, I think, because...
Oh, we forgot to talk about bosses. How's Target Zan?
I
guess we did talk about Target Zan, because fuck those controls.
Target Zan's fine, though. Like, I didn't have any issues.
Target Zan's fine, so here's the thing. The first-person shooter sections are great, as long as what you're shooting at is literally directly in front of you. And Target Zan is never not directly in front of you.
I also like how he, like... I think it's him who's like, he's mad because people are shooting targets, so he tries to hurt you or something. Or is that somebody else?
I don't remember. Who's the boss in Glitter Gulch Mine?
Old King Cole.
Old King Cole, yeah.
The merry old
yeah.
Get Chuffy. That boss ain't bad. I like that boss.
If you happen to grab the grenade eggs before the boss, then he goes down real easy.
I think, for the most part, outside of the final boss, the bosses in this game are actually pretty good. I enjoyed them for the most, and Lord Wu Fack can fact right off.
Yeah,
but other than that,
I don't like Patches either. Like, I like his idea, but with those controls, I just...
Patches is probably a lot easier on 64.
Yeah,
probably.
Like, if I had proper controls, Patches would be fine. But with those stupid magnet controls, I just... makes me want to die.
I like the blowtorch in Grunty Industries. That boss is a lot of fun. I like that boss.
Weldar sucks.
I like Weldar. Weldar was a good time. You didn't fight Weldar.
So Glitter Gulch Mine.
Yeah. Let's go back to Glitter Gulch.
Yeah, we really have to speed up. Holy shit.
Yo, I cheesed the hell out of some Glitter Gulch Mine jiggies by going back with Clockwork Kazooie.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Canary Mary can just jump off cliff. Like, the first one's fine, but the second one's just like, oh.
And then the ones in Cloud Cuckoo Land, I watched Matt try that second one.
Wait,
on
there's
accident.
Canary Mary in Cloud Cuckoo Land?
If you beat her twice in Glitter Gulch Mine, then she shows up in Cloud Cuckoo Land, and you gotta do 2 more.
And she's even harder.
Oh, fuck that.
And the first one seemed like it wasn't that hard, but the second one...
So Pat, imagine this. Imagine it's harder for all the reasons you think it is, but if you do too well, she rubber bands.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, I think Glitter Gulch Mine is another level where it's like, it's fine. Can we wrap the music in with the levels? Because I feel like
Yeah.
Sure, because Mayahem Temple music is 10 out of 10. And we're starting with music here. Grant Kirkhope brought his fucking A game.
I really like the Isle of Hags music.
Yeah, I do too.
But I do genuinely think one of my favorite songs in the game is Glitter Gulch Mine.
Really, Glitter Gulch Mine?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it just has this nice, vibe to it. I don't know how to explain it. But also, more banjos in video game music forever.
Look, I think this comment on the YouTube video that I'm looking at from Joe.Biden saying, I have a math test tomorrow, and here I am at 2 a.m. listening to Banjo-Tooie music, sums it all up.
For me, I've always,
The next comment is, I still don't know my way around the mine.
Yeah.
I think for me, I never have really liked, that whole, Wild West prospector kind of thing. So, I just don't like the sound of that kind of music. It's fine music.
Well, Pat, I grew up in the South, and
Yeah.
everybody here listens to country for some godforsaken reason, so...
Yeah, so I'm sure. But it's fine. I'm not a huge fan of Glitter Gulch Mine's music, to be honest, but that's just me.
What is level 3? Is level 3 Witchy World?
Level 3 is Witchy World.
I fucking love
Yeah.
Witchy World's music!
got good music. I love its theming. I love that everything's run down and shitty and just awful.
Again, I think it's the best design. It's the best laid out level in the game.
Yeah,
easily.
Like it's so easy to make your way around, and the fact that every section has a different aesthetic makes it very easy to like. All right, I have landmarks to work with now, and I just really, really like Witchy World a lot.
It's another one of those worlds that I could see being like, okay, we just have some like lava assets, so let's use it in this thing, and like. You can kind of see where they might have grabbed like other assets and just kind of put it into Witchy World, but like it's so married to the idea that it's this shitty rundown theme park. The fact that the rat dudes all wear different masks in each area is great.
Yeah, it's just a well put together level. I would not be surprised if I one day read that Witchy World was a cut level from Banjo-Kazooie, because it feels like one.
The biggest thing about Witchy World, though, for me, is that I really like it. Except, I like being in it. It's great. I even like the not the transformation.
The van is fine.
The van's fine. We didn't really talk about the other two, but yeah, there's no need to.
There's a reason for that.
I do like the golden statue that you can go kick things with. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a transformation, but my big thing is, like I said, there's a reason it is. Obviously, the amusement park would have a bunch of mini games, but it is just a bunch of mini games, and those are my least favorite part of Banjo-Tooie. I think when it's being a platformer, when you have to get to areas and do things, I really like it. And when you stick me in a bumper car, I'm just bored out of my mind. Like, I just don't care that much.
Like we said, Witchy World has a bit of an over-reliance on the minigames, where, like, I'm pretty sure about 7 out of 10 of the jiggies are probably minigames.
But it's such a well-themed and, like, fun world that it's just, like...
It makes up for it.
Yeah.
And then after that is Pterodactyl, isn't it?
No. After...
What's after?
Jolly Roger.
Jolly Roger.
Jolly Roger. Jolly Roger's fine, but I just really...
Okay, can we talk about good music?
Oh yeah, Jolly Roger has very good music.
Fuck yes, it's one of my favorites.
It's no Treasure Trove Cove.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's pretty good.
Jolly Roger Lagoon music is good, but I don't know, I feel like it's kind of alright.
Specifically at the top, where it's like a nice sea shanty, like...
Oh yeah.
But I find it really funny that they, in this game where you can only be underwater for a certain amount of time, and then they were like, I want to make a water level. Well shit, how do we get around this? I don't know. Mumbo shines the sun into the water and now they can breathe underwater. Fuck it. I don't care. And I find that absolutely hilarious that was a design decision that had to be made at some point, where they didn't just think like, maybe we just like cut out the oxygen thing, or maybe we just make more above water stuff. They were just like, no, fuck it. You don't have to worry about it in this level and only this level.
I think Jolly Roger has some of the better, like, NPC interactions, too. Witchy World has some really good ones as well, with the shitty kids and Boggy's wife and the two guys.
Fast food guys.
Yeah, fast food guys. But I really like Jolly and his partner. Blubbers is funny because he's just like, he's like blown his fortune on something and he just wants a doubloon, or I forget.
All of his Wave Riders were broken and he was running a Wave Rider rental service.
And then also like just hanging out drinking is the villain of Project Dream.
Yeah, that's actually the coolest thing ever.
And then Tip Top is there too. And he's just locked in a zoo and like he just doesn't notice it, apparently.
That's true, he never addresses it.
And then he's just like...
I mean, to be fair, Tip Top was living inside a bigger turtle last we saw him, so...
When you hatch his son or daughter or whatever it is, they just like flip on their backs and they use that way. I don't remember, but it's used in the game a couple of times. And they just spin off into the sunset. And it's like, wait, did you leave? Could you always have left? Like... But also the aliens show up for the first time. And I love the aliens.
God, the aliens are fucking weird. I like them as well, but God, they're fucking weird.
I like the part when you get to Hellfire Peaks and they just fall out of the ship and fucking die.
One of them fucking dies. You just watch a man die in front of you for the third time?
It's a kid.
Also, no, both of those happen. A kid is just dead when you find it. Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Here's a fun thing. I got Hellfire Peaks before starting the aliens, so that cutscene didn't play till later. So I did explore Hellfire Peaks a little bit without the aliens being there, and it becomes very clear that child has been there a while.
Oh no. So it is actually kind of funny. You know how when they lift off, they leave a Jiggy? I forgot to get that Jiggy until I went back to Jolly Roger to get extra Jiggies for the 70, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is just here.
Beautiful.
I agree, Lord Wu Fok can fuck right off.
He is fine when you play as the submarine.
It's better, but still not great.
Pterodactyland sucks.
Pterodactyland sucks.
Okay, yes. I think its layout does suck. I like a bunch of Pterodactyland's Jiggies, though. They're fun.
Yeah, but how do you fucking find them?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I also feel like Pterodactyland has the most wasted transformation.
Oh, the T-Rex? Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering they made a unique gimmick just for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, I will give them this. Pterodactyland's music ain't bad.
Also, why do you need to be taught to roar?
Yeah. Why do you need to be taught to roar? Unless you go as a big dinosaur, in which case...
well, then you're grown up. Then you already know how to...
Humba tells you immediately how to roar.
Humba's just a cop.
I really like the Rocknut Tribe one. It's fun having to take them out with because that's the first time you get clockwork eggs, right?
Yes. That is the level you get clockwork eggs in.
And I also just really like the stomping plains guy is cool. How you get around that by using like 3 different ways of basically invincibility. And then I like the cavemen that are freezing to death that you have to feed fast food.
Yeah. I don't like how it's like, fuck you, nerd. You don't get to do this Jiggy until you've gone to Grunny Industries. Fuck off.
That's true. I forgot. I did that after I went to Grundy Industries, I think, so that's fair.
Why was that? I forget.
Because you need the claw clamber boots.
Yeah.
To get the food out of Witchy World. And you don't get those until you go to Grunny Industries.
I do like how it feels, though, getting to sneak the food out of Witchy World, because it's a silly thing, but, like, as a kid, I'm positive I would have been like, hey, take that.
Yeah, but why couldn't you just take the goddamn train? Fuck off with the need for an ability from a level that is like 2 levels away!
What? Why do I remember not knowing where the clock clamber boots are there and in my final session?
Because you did it. It wasn't your final session, but when you did get the clock clamber boots, it because they're on top of the fucking big top 10.
Yeah, fuck
like
that.
200 miles away from where you have to use them. Somebody had to tell you that's where they were, because why the fuck would you look up there? Why would that be where they were? It's just that I like that part. Grunty Industries also sucks.
Yeah, okay, we talk about Grundy Industries because this fucking level.
I can't really.
There's too much. Matt managed to beat the entire game without getting a single jiggy in Grundy's Industries.
So I used a guide a couple of times in this game because I got to a point where I was like...
I used a guide called Twitch Chat.
I used a guide called go to the options menu on the pause screen and it tells you where the jiggies are.
Also, yeah, there is that. There's jiggy hints in the pause screen, which I didn't know until like 3 sessions in.
Yeah, I didn't know that, period. That
because that's nice. Not in the 64 version.
Hey, you know what sucks? It doesn't tell you which Jinjos are in which level.
Well, because it's randomized.
Oh, is it randomized? That's why.
Yeah, it's randomized. Because Matt got the white Jinjo as his very first Jinjo.
Every copy of Banjo-Kazooie is personalized. Or Banjo-Tooie,
well, it's like Mingy Jongo and Mumbo Jumbo in Cloud Cuckoo Land. Like, it's randomized when you start the game.
Okay.
It's a random seed. So it's impossible. It would be a huge, like, obviously they could have done it in this remake and probably should have. But, back in the N64, I can see why they didn't.
Yeah. Grunty Industries, fuck this place.
There's too much in Grunty Industries, and so little of it leads to jiggies.
There's nothing.
The first hour and a half of Grunty Industries is spent just being able to get around Grunty Industries.
Yeah, it's awful.
Despite never having gotten a jiggy in Grunty Industries, I was there for an hour.
I did like the idea of having to, like, sneak in through the train station.
I think that is a neat idea. If it wasn't for the fact that the entire fucking level is that in a billion different places.
I have no defenses. I fucking hate this level.
Grunty Industries could eat my ass.
Except I really like Grunty Industries music.
At this point, it should just go without saying that we're probably putting every level's music.
Yeah,
in this game.
I don't know. It's just so like monotonous.
Well, I like the trombone. The slide trombone is a good instrument. You don't hear it very often in game music.
Wait, was there a boss in Pterodactyland?
Yes, it's Terry.
Oh, Terry. Oh, yeah. Why did I completely forgot about that?
Terry's fine.
She's fine. The most offensive part of Terry is the fact that you can't do the egg jiggy until you beat her. You just straight up.
Oh, fuck that.
Won't let you.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know anything about Weldar.
Well, that's fine. I liked him.
I hate him. Fuck off. But I'm also not good at video games, so that might be why.
But next will be Hailfire, which has both of the dragons. They're fine. So here's the thing. I would like Hailfire if not for one thing, and it's that those flaming hands should be removed from the game. Awful. They actively make that level suck.
Their hitbox lasts 31 years.
Yeah, it's... Okay, so I think I will say, like, straight up, I think Hailfire is my favorite level. I hate those hands.
Imagine if in Click Clock Wood you couldn't kill the birds. That's what those hands are.
So bad.
Well, you can kill those hands, but you need to use Wonder Wing and they respawn.
You need to use Wonder Wing or be the snowball. Those are literally the only two things.
And they respawn after 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But I really like a lot of the jiggies in it.
I think that a lot of the jiggies are very creative because I like the idea of, like, I think the only other game I've ever seen do this is Galaxy 2?
Yeah, Shiverburn.
Yeah, where it's the whole idea is that one side is fire and the other side is ice. And that's really neat. That's a cool way to like sort of, do that sort of dichotomy. And it's fine. I like the ice side a little bit better. But
yeah, I agree. I think I like the ice side a little bit.
Hailfire Peaks has my favorite line of dialogue in the game, where you meet Bigfoot, and he says, "I'm Bigfoot. I have an enormous foot." And the response from Banjo and Kazooie is, "That's nice."
That's just, yeah. Oh man, I just like what's his face?
Saberman. The fact that Saberman is there, that's a neat cameo as well.
I really like how you have to get to the like secret ice area to get the ice key and just that one Jiggy that's there. I can't think of a Jiggy in that level that I don't like.
Yeah, Hellfire. And we gotta give a shout out, I guess, because DVD Smith will yell at us if we don't. Hailfire Peaks Fireside is very good, music-wise.
For sure, that is one of my favorites.
After Hailfire is
Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Fuck Cloud Cuckoo Land.
I don't think it's as bad as most people think. I thought it was worse when I got into it, though.
I don't think it's as bad as Grunty Industries, but like it's the ways that Cloud Cuckoo Land are bad are different from the ways that Grunty Industries are bad. Where like Pterodactyl Land sucks because everything looks the fucking same, whereas Cloud Cuckoo Land doesn't have that problem. Everything is visually different, but that actually somehow ends up being this weird sensory overload.
Yeah.
And also it has a way bigger reliance than any level in the game on the split up pads. Holy shit.
It does, yes.
Yeah, but also if you can't fly, then fuck you.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Banjo's best attempt at flying is the Word-a-Waddle, and that's it.
I think my fucking favorite things from your streams, though, were the, like, 3 times you slowly slid to your death on Cloud Cuckoo Land, where it was, the death field is so fucking low in that level.
Takes so long to die.
That you'd be sliding down for, like, a full half minute, just nothing you can do, resigned to your fate, and it was so fucking funny.
I like a lot of the Jiggies in Cloud Cuckoo Land, though. Like, the eyeball thing isn't that bad. I like the one where you have to, like, go around and find the safe. Like, detonate the safe thing. The buttons with the Clockwork Kazooie eggs. There's that trash gremlin monster thing that you have to become friends with, and he gives you a Jiggy, I think. With Kazooie, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And Minji Jongo is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Minji Jongo's awesome.
I remember seeing Minji Jongo for the first time when I was over at my friend's house and being, like, blown away by the idea, that whole idea.
Well, it's a really cool twist. Like, it's a genuinely really good, unexpected thing, because I had forgotten about it completely.
Also, you complete the best quest in the game, when you push, I forget his name, Ice Cube Man.
George,
yeah, which
is the only reason we remember that is we have a friend named George.
When you push George off the cliff and then he lands on the wrong side.
Really sucks that he died by falling into the boiling water.
I love how
I'll miss you, George.
I love how his wife is just holding a Jinjo hostage. She's like, she literally says, "I won't give this small man up until I see my husband." And then you have to kill her to get it.
Good.
Cloud Cuckoo Land was originally explained to me as it's the Rainbow Ride of Banjo-Tooie. Where it's just like, man, we got nowhere else to put these fucking assets, and we already made them.
And just like Rainbow Ride, it's got the best fucking song in the game.
Really?
You like God? It's my least favorite song of the game.
The fuck? Okay, I'm exaggerating when I say it's the best song of the game, but it's really good.
Sure, buddy. That slide whistle.
No, that slide whistle's the best part!
It sure is, buddy. You know, just let him go. Just let him go on. Play along. It's fine.
No, it's like the song starts up. It's like this high energy thing, and then suddenly the slide whistle goes wow, and you're in for a wild ride.
I do forget another one of my favorite jiggies is beating Mr. Fit by cheating horribly.
3 separate times.
That's so good. I love it.
Well, no, to be fair, you don't cheat in the sack race. That's
You
the
don't,
only
you're
one
right.
where you don't cheat.
Which is the one you play as just Banjo, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Yeah, Kazooie's the cheater of the group. That makes sense.
Oh, it's so good.
But, so, Tower of Tragedy might not be as good as, Furnace Fun? It's not as good as Furnace Fun, but I think I kind of like the music better.
I disagree. I think this is better than Furnace Fun. I hate Furnace Fun.
I think Furnace Fun is more interesting than just being a straight score attack trivia game. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing Tower of Tragedy more than I enjoy doing Furnace Fun, but I think aesthetically and from a gameplay perspective, Furnace Fun is way superior.
Yeah, that's fair. But also Furnace Fun has a literal, like, you can literally land on a spot that just insta-kills you, which is horse shit.
That's true.
And there are like 3 of those near the end.
But Tower of Tragedy has a similar problem where the computer can buzz in before you've even, like, had the ability to finish reading the sentence.
Oh, I guess I destroyed those computers.
I mean,
so.
I did. I think we all did pretty well. Well, your first round came real close, though, Matt. But then after that, you fucking destroyed all the other 2 rounds.
What? My first round did not come close. It was my score of 12, and like Blobelda had 2.
I remember one of cause like, I think maybe it was the second round. I don't remember. But yeah, it's simpler.
I like it better too, because a lot of the things that you have to learn for it are just in the world instead of having to talk to fucking Grunty's sister and listen to her.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the worst parts about Furnace Fun by far. I'll agree with that.
It's like all these just generic witchy things that, like, why would those stick in your head? Maybe if you're a kid and because you're like, ew, gross. But like for me, none of that stuck. Whereas like I barely missed any of those questions. And if I did, it was because I was too quick on the draw and just assumed something.
But I think the funniest part of Tower of Tragedy, though, is that, like, 70% or something of all the questions are about Grunty Industries because there's just so much shit in Grunty Industries, which is why that level sucks.
I also, like, I know story isn't a big part of Banjo, but she just kind of kills her sisters.
I mean, that seems in character for Grunty.
They lost the game.
If you learned anything from Banjo-Tooie, it's that Gruntilda is weirdly fine with holding up her end of the bargain in every stupid game she's ever made.
That's true, yeah, I guess.
She does not, she basically hands you a good, 30 jiggies in this game just because you shot good once. And she didn't have to do that.
Yeah, she could have just been like, fuck you. Or specifically, when you're in the Hag 1 and she's like, you got my question right. I guess I'll shoot slower.
She is nothing if not a witch of her word.
Yeah, it's great.
To a fault.
On the subject of Grunty, question, rhyming or no rhyming?
Rhyming. Fuck this game.
I do agree that it was a coward way out, but I don't blame them.
I do blame them.
Grunty feels like a character that they didn't expect to ever have to write again in Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then in Nuts and Bolts, she rhymes again.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Because they realized they were cowards.
Well, because her sisters are dead, and they were the ones that had the problem.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 'Cause it's not even her. They're just like, we're not helping you if you don't.
She rhymes for the first, 20 minutes of the game, and then, I think Minjella is just like, stop it, it's annoying. Even though they both talk like Yoda for some fucking reason.
Oh, God.
And nobody ever brings
idea.
that shit up. Okay, final thing. I really like the music for the Hag 1 boss.
I was too frustrated to be listening to it.
Is it better than the Banjo-Kazooie boss theme? No. But also, even with the problems in Banjo-Tooie's 360 remake, making the Hag 1 suck a lot, hey, it's still better than Banjo-Kazooie's final boss. That final boss sucks.
Here's my hot take. Hag 1's great.
Hag 1 is great if the first-person shooter controls work correctly.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing that broke it for me. While I was playing, it took me 7 fucking tries to beat Hag 1. God fuck. I had to go do stop and swap to get homing eggs to make it a bearable boss fight.
I did it without homing eggs, and that sucked.
But just fucking, cause I was playing it the whole time and I was like, I remember liking this boss on 64. What the fuck is happening? And then on this fucking episode, you mentioned that it's cause they broke the FPS controls. That literally made the boss not good.
Yeah.
How many times on this show are we going to say, why did this thing suck? And the answer is going to be because the port sucks. But also this port doesn't suck because the N64 version has a shitty frame rate.
Yeah, the N64 version could barely run.
Speaking of stop and swap, did you guys do any of stop and swap?
We both did everything that wasn't the nuts and bolts stuff.
Okay.
I did stop and swap on stream.
I also did stop and swap on stream. I wasn't going to do stop and swap because I didn't care that much, and then I wanted the homing eggs so I could actually fucking beat the final boss.
I apparently had the ice key. I don't remember getting it in the original game, but I had it, so I got the Mega Globo.
Oh, I didn't get that, but also I don't really care for Dragon Kazooie, so I can't explain why. I have no reason.
Does Dragon Kazooie have infinite fire eggs?
No, but she can just shoot fire.
Yeah, she has fire breath.
Okay, because for whatever reason, when I was fighting the Hag 1, I had infinite fire eggs.
See, I just used grenade eggs because they do 3 damage.
Yeah, well, but all my other eggs, if I had infinite every egg, I would have used grenade eggs. But literally, I just could keep firing red, and it was always fired. It was always 100. So it's maybe that's Dragon Kazooie.
I don't know. So I think the Hag 1 is a better boss fight than just the regular final boss in Banjo-Kazooie. Cause so here's the thing. The problem with the boss in Banjo-Kazooie isn't just that it's really hard, cause it's really fucking hard. But it's also that it's super long and there are no checkpoints. whatsoever. You have to do the whole thing in one life, and it's really easy for her to just send your stupid ass flying off the tower sometimes. It does not feel super fair, and I have never played that boss fight without turning on the infinite golden feather cheat. That's the only way I've ever been able to beat that boss because, fuck it. I have tried multiple times. I just don't want to do it. And the Hag 1, like, again, I had to go get homing eggs to make it doable on the 360 version, but it's still just overall a better final boss. Just in general.
It's definitely a lot better.
We didn't talk about the best character in the game. Klungo.
Klungo has a weird redemption arc. Like at the in the span of like 10 minutes.
I love I love Klungo in this game.
The best part about Klungo is that he's like, this sucks. I'm gonna go get like an easy job, like doing something that takes no skill, like making video games. And then in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, he did. And you can play Hero Klungo Saves the World.
Oh yeah, they're not like in these games, like especially in Tooie, Rare fucking focused on every little detail you could get from any line and like, oh, so this has to be a part of this character story. If they were a returning character, like some fucking rando ass line that they said once, it's part of their backstory now.
Yeah, oh my god, that, like, I know I killed a husband and wife duo, but I think that's sadder. It's just like, oh, I made it. I finally
That's the perfect example of Gobi mentions offhand at the end of, whatever world he shows up in last. I don't remember.
Gobi's Valley.
No, he's not in Gobi's Valley, or he shows up in Gobi's Valley and then you like do the thing and then he goes somewhere else and I don't remember where that is. But he mentions like, screw it, I'm going to the lava world. And then you find him in Witchy World where he's like, yeah, I was on my way to the lava world and then I got stuck in this theme park. And then you free him and he goes to Hailfire Peaks, the fire side. So he finally made it.
And like, as you're jumping on him, he's like, no, please don't. I beg you, anything, let me have my water.
Yeah, it's just, the game's got good writing.
Also, have you seen what Klungo looks like in the artwork for Hero Klungo Saves the World?
No.
I have not actually.
Look at him! He's fucking ripped!
He's ripped as shit. Beautiful. So, I think that about covers it. I think that's all I got to say on Banjo-Tooie. We have to wrap it up because me and Matt still got to talk about fucking Pokemon Puzzle League and how that's going to be a goddamn disaster.
Pat, I'll see you again in Banjo 3E.
God, don't remind me.
No, you won't, because remember what we do to guests on this show?
Well, hold on. Before you go, Pat, there's a question that we ask every guest.
That's true.
We kept this one a secret from you on purpose because it's always a surprise. What employee of Nintendo of America would you want to fight?
Ooh.
Like hand-to-hand combat, no weapons.
Hand-to-hand Nintendo of America.
And you don't even need to have like a specific name. You can just be like the person who decided this.
Oh, okay.
Because not everybody can be like us and know the names of people that work at Nintendo of America.
Yeah, that's a good question. Can I fight Miyamoto?
That's not Nintendo
That's
of America.
That's not Nintendo of America, but I'm willing to give it to you.
Okay, cool. I want to fight him because of Paper Mario. I want him to let Paper Mario do unique things again. I want to beat up Miyamoto. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, before you summon Neil any further, I'm going to have to put you where the rest of the guests go.
Is there anything that you want to plug before you go?
Nope, I got nothing. I am a ghost. You'll never find me. Never
Literally,
know who I am.
it's word for word what you said at the end of the last episode. All right, well, into the well you go. Bye, Pat.
Goodbye.
Well, now that Pat's gone, we can,
Yeah, screw that guy.
move on to our next game. It's finally, I'm afraid of this game. I'm genuinely afraid of this next game. I haven't felt this much fear since Earthbound.
At least this game isn't, like, beloved.
That's true. Our next game is representing fighter number 24, Mewtwo. It is the 2000 Nintendo 64 game, Pokemon Puzzle League.
So there are several games on our list that obviously, like, either you, me, or both, like, are not or were not particularly excited for. Like, there's the obvious ones of, like, neither of us wanted to play Earthbound. You were very worried about Rondo of Blood. I don't like Donkey Kong 64. But, like, for the most part, like, I would say, like, we're doing the right thing with pretty much every game we've chosen for this show. That is not the case with Pokemon Puzzle League. We made a genuine mistake. We should not have done this. We actually should not have done this, but it's too late to change that now.
We should have just bit the goddamn bullet and did Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, this is actually, we made a mistake.
So, for people that do not know, Pokemon Puzzle League is a literally reskinned Tetris Attack on the N64, reskinned to be the Pokemon anime, like...
Well, so, Panel de Pon is a more correct name for it.
Tetris Attack is a reskin of Panel de Pon, and so this is a reskin of a reskin of a reskin.
If you've ever seen the lipstick item in Smash Brothers, that belongs to Lip from Panel de Pon. And specifically, the context of the word stick there is it's a magical girl's wand. For some reason, they use the English word stick to refer to a magical girl's wand in Japanese.
It's for the pun.
The main character is... No, it's not. That's the actual common vernacular.
Beautiful.
I mean, maybe that's why they named the character Lip. But that is what they call a magical girl's wand.
And it's a little bit of a bummer that Lip never made it into Smash herself, because I think, honestly, that Panel de Pon could make for a really interesting... It's the same reason why I think it would be really interesting if, like, a Puyo Puyo character showed up in Smash. I think that has the potential to be a super cool moveset. But, alas, neither of those are a thing in Smash. Probably a good thing, because I'm not good at Puyo Puyo. So, yeah. This is a reskin of Tetris Attack, which is itself a reskin of the Japanese game Panel de Pon. I've played a little bit of this game in the past. I had it on Wii Virtual Console. I didn't play it for very long.
I played this game as a kid. I played it quite a bit.
So, explain to the people why this is the game we picked for Mewtwo specifically.
So, Mewtwo is the final boss of the campaign in Pokemon Puzzle League, based on his appearance in Pokemon the first movie. And to even attempt to play against him, you must be playing on very hard difficulty.
So this is the only one on the list that has a built-in abort button, where it's like, understood that we're not gonna do this.
So we made the decision that we're not just gonna, like, give it one try and then give up. We're going to, like, actually sit down and try to do this.
It gets a hard cutoff of 1 month.
I think probably the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start on the lower difficulties, where it's like, Mewtwo doesn't appear at all. And I'm going to use that as a practice run so that I can learn the game and get better. And I'm going to increase the difficulty more and more so that by the time I start playing very hard mode, I have completed the game on the difficulties below it. I feel like that's what gives me the best chance to actually, hopefully, get to Mewtwo.
So I'm going to come out and say it on my end. I don't even think I'll see Mewtwo. I do not have the mechanical and thinking skill to be good at these kinds of games. I am dog shit at Tetris. I'm awful at Puyo Puyo. I can't do the thing that is 100% required in games like this, which is you need to be thinking moves ahead to, like, set up combos and shit, because that's the way you do it. I can't do that. I just can't do that. And if you can't do that, then you are fucked in games like this. And, like, that's not a problem with the game. That's a problem with me. But I'm just gonna warn folks, I ain't gonna... Mewtwo's not even gonna show up on stream in mine.
I'm going to consider it a win if Mewtwo literally just shows up on screen on mine. But since we are not likely to actually beat Mewtwo, I think I will also go around and take a look at all the other modes, because there are a couple unique modes in here. There's a 3D mode where you have you're working on a 3D cylinder instead of a 2D plane.
I didn't know that, actually. I had no idea that was a thing.
There's a mode where the goal is there's a predefined stage and you're trying to clear X number, you're trying to get the game field down to a certain block level instead of fighting against an opponent and stuff like that. There are a number of interesting modes. There's a puzzle mode too, where you're given a predefined board and you need to figure out the one specific path to victory with no time limit. I think that there's stuff to check out here.
I think it will be fine. We're also probably going to... The final stream of this game will probably be a multiplayer stream.
Yes.
If we can get that to work well, which I believe we will be able to. That'll be fine.
We gotta bust out the really long HDMI cable again.
The super, super long HDMI cable. And a lot of controller cord extenders. This is actually probably our first one that is super hard to play, because it came out on Wii Virtual Console, but it did not come out on Wii U Virtual Console. One of those eShops is closed. I'll leave it to you to figure out which one.
If you can't already play this game, you will likely never be able to play this game.
Yeah, I don't think this game is ever coming out again, because, here's the thing. We talked about Pokemon Snap, and how Pokemon Snap is very heavily based around the Pokemon anime specifically. Puzzle League is literally the anime. There is FMV of just reused anime scenes in Puzzle League.
It is not reused.
Is it original?
They commissioned new animation.
Holy shit! I just assumed it was reused animation. But you're playing as Ash Ketchum, you're fighting characters from the anime. This game is literally the anime. So, that comes with the fun thing of licensing issues, because the soundtrack is also all licensed music from the show, or from a bonus album based on the show. I don't know how to it's technically from the show. It was on Pikachu's Jukebox. I don't fucking know, man.
This game also never released in Japan.
That sounds about right. So yeah, it's gonna be a disaster. I hope you're all ready to spend the entirety of January watching me get really frustrated at a puzzle game.
Not the entirety of January. We gotta give us some time for the Banjo episode to come out. It's gonna be the back half of January and a little bit of February.
At least it's not back-to-back with Dr. Mario anymore, so it's not 2 puzzle games in a row. Which I guess, we should mention, some of you, if you don't watch the streams, might be confused, because in episode 0, Puzzle League came after Stadium 2. Stadium 2 would have been our next game. We fucked up. We had the wrong release date for Puzzle League. Puzzle League came out first, so we're doing it first.
There were a couple games move around since episode 0, because after episode 0, we decided, hey, maybe we should check the release dates, because before, when we recorded episode 0, we didn't.
That's true, we didn't do that.
After we did that reorganization, we found, we had the wrong dates for Puzzle League and Stadium, so they have been corrected.
I still don't actually even know where our original date for Puzzle League came from. It had to have come from somewhere. I fucked up looking it up, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna wrap it up now.
Oh, did we talk about Sephiroth yet?
We did in the bonus episode that came out before this.
Okay.
If you're not listening to that, we're playing Crisis Core. That's basically all you need to know.
Not Kingdom Hearts.
Not Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why everybody
You're all a bunch of fake Sephiroth fans.
I genuinely don't know why everybody figured Kingdom Hearts was going to be the answer to that, to what we play for Sephiroth. He's in that game for fucking 2 minutes.
Did y'all just kind of forget that there was another game that had Sephiroth in it?
There are multiple other games that have Sephiroth in it.
I kind of think that's what you guys did.
Remake would have been a better fucking suggestion, but anyways.
We already did an episode on a remake, so I don't blame them for not thinking remake, but like, y'all remember that Crisis Core is not only exists, but Square Enix expects you to remember it.
Also, Sephiroth is a cameo in both Kingdom Hearts games in which he appears. He only has lines in the second one. Anyways, so, with that, we're going to go ahead and call it good. Did you know that you can follow us on Twitter at Smashterpieces? That's also where you can find our Facebook page, but I should probably just stop mentioning that because I haven't posted on the Facebook page in months.
I said this in our last episode, and I still believe it. You should delete your Facebook.
That's also true. I update the banner every time.
Good.
I just don't post anything else there. I used to post like stream announcements and shit, but I should probably get back to doing that. But yeah, you can follow us there too.
Your last post on Facebook was on September 2nd, 2019.
Sweet. We also are on YouTube at Smashterpieces. That's where you can find all of our neat little VODs. And by neat little VODs, I mean they're the VODs. They're just the VODs. You can watch us play the games. And you can catch those streams live at twitch.tv/Nintendo World Report. I'm going to give you Thursdays for this game. I'm volunteering you. That's yours now. You can also follow our editor, Peter Spezia, over on Twitter at PeteSpeakEasy. You can find not only Smashterpieces, but the show I do with Peter, Original Sound Chat, at anondino.squarespace.com.
Since our last episode, I was on the Thanksgiving episode of NWR Connectivity, hosted by Neil Ronahan and John Raridan. You can check that out too.
I still ain't been invited onto the show. But yeah, you should go check that out. It's a very fun episode. I listened to it, actually.
You can hear me go on a radical left-wing rant about how we should abolish copyright law. That's not really what I said, but that's what I'm telling you I said.
Sure. And so, you can follow me on Twitter at TheDebuggy. You can follow Matt at GrimaceDoMenace. That's basically all you gotta know, man. You know all the information now. So, I guess with that, my name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And we will see you next time after the nuclear apocalypse that is Pokemon Puzzle League.